This film was called a benchmark parody in the comedy genre. At the premiere in 1991, cinemas were packed. The film's release was extended. The characters in the film were like family, and the crazy and sharp phrases just begged to be included in the quote book of movie buffs. And all this to picture hot shots. But there might not have been a movie. The original parody trio Jim Abrahams and the brothers David and Jerry Zucker had broken up. The trio previously created such films as Airplane, Top Secret, Ruthless People, and of course The Naked Gun with Leslie Nielsen. Having learned of the breakup, which the authors correctly called a divergence in creative views. In the studio, creaking their saddles, they did not dare to invest in Abraham's idea Your Money, but he did not give up, and proclaimed the slogan Not Only the Zookers, and connected Pat Proft to writing the script, who seemed to be charged with generating crazy, and so necessary cool ideas for the film. As a result, in the 20th century Fox believed Jim, and wrote out $22 million for the film's budget, which will subsequently grow to 26 Green Lemons. The parody was based on the sensational flying movie epic Top Gun, 86th year of release. Why Top Gun? Abrahams really wanted to make fun of the military theme, plus the popularity of Tom Cruise, who was throwing the sky, was sky high at that time. But not only Top Gun, thanks to the author's vision and frequent edits to the script, when some scenes and phrases appeared right on the set. Hot Shots. It's a parody of the pop culture of those years. Army, music, and famous films including the golden classics of cinema. Charlie Sheen quickly became one of the studio's favorites for the role of Topper Harley, as the authors claimed. It was all thanks to a successful hit in the image and the actor's charisma. As some viewers said and saw, it was all thanks to the resemblance to Tom Cruise. Like in the dark in the background you can't make it out at all. By the way, the character's name is a direct reference to the scooter, Harley Davidson Topper. Yes, the kids from the famous motorcycle manufacturing company have left their mark here too, giving the name to one of the most popular characters in comedy. Italian actress Valeria Golino, who previously played with the original, well, that is Tom Cruise in the film Rain Man. And so by a twist of fate she met his parodied version, and played Ramada Thompson. She's a little sizzling belly. Thanks to her attractive appearance, authorial leadership and costumes, she appeared in the image of a seductive miss. The film was shot entirely in California, mostly in Los Angeles and surrounding areas. Somehow things didn't work out with the lease of a real aircraft carrier, and then craftsmen created the deck of an aircraft carrier on the edge of a cliff near an old amusement park in Maryland. This architectural trick allowed us to shoot only from a few angles, with a view of the endless ocean. Abrahams wanted to invite Peter Falk to the film, and make a parody of the famous screen detective Columbo with him, but for unspecified reasons they never came to an agreement with Peter. Leslie Nielsen was invited to play the role of the Admiral. It would seem like an ideal candidate, but Leslie refused. The actor did not want to play a secondary role. From the first frames of the film, the authors give an introduction, setting the viewer up for the right humorous mood. There will be a lot of banter on this aircraft carrier, and often it will be absurd, but always on topic. Abrahams and Proft came up with as many as 3 dozen crazy and ridiculous actions. They selected the best ones for the final version. The leaders of the top were the preparation of sausages for hot dogs, safe transportation of aerial bombs, and the composition was crowned by a diligent Mexican cleaner on a military ship. The Topper's father was played by Bill Irwin, who in the original version of the script ejected into the ocean, and emerged on an uninhabited island. But in the end they decided that they would eject Ryan Stiles, who played Mailman Farnham, where the Proft version with open deer hunting season eventually trumped. The authors test the eruditeness of moviegoers by sending them to the sensational film of the 90s Dances with Wolves by Kevin Costner. 7 Oscars, packed movie theaters, and already then the title of one of the best films in the genre. In the frame not only Indians and their life, but even a wolf appeared. Without stopping there, the following fragment pays tribute to the classics of cinema. Endless provincial road with views of local natural beauties. This is a John Rich movie from 1960 Roostabout, where Elvis Presley played the main role. In Roostabout, Elvis sang peacefully as he continued his way, and the Topper demonstrated a masterclass on his 660 Honda Transalp. In all the difficult stunt elements, Charlie was replaced by pro stuntman Eddie Brown. In those years, he often noted Charlie Sheen in dangerous stunt scenes in his films, The Moto Master Topper was joined by Miss Ramada, a cool rider, and here all the complex stunt elements were performed by stunt doubles. Yes, there were two of them, one performed tricks on a horse, the second acrobatic elements. Valeria Golino said that she spent more than 2 weeks working with an instructor in the stable, where she became a cool rider, and could even rear up herself. The scene is complemented by the composition Dream Lover, musical classics recorded back in '59. But what's interesting is that it's not Presley singing, but actually Bobby Darin. It was chosen because the song better suited the moment of feelings of the Topper and the Ramada. Epic character Admiral Benson, with the call sign Tugboat. The last name is a reference to the Cool Frankus comedy Dirty Rotten Scoundrels' 88th year, where Steve Martin played Freddie Benson. One of his screen images. This is just a fake Navy veteran, but the Admiral's image itself is a tribute to the Police Academy and Commandant Eric Lassard. The role of the Admiral was played by Lloyd Bridges, unsinkable, unburnable, unkillable, iron-headed warrior to the marrow of his bones. Author of crazy ideas, funny phrases and situations. I don't know what Leslie would have done, but Lloyd created a particularly memorable image. I would say outstanding in its idiocy and funniness. John Cryer played a lieutenant with the eloquent call sign, Washout, with a special kind of squint or fisheye vision. Cryer got the role because of his looks, and his glasses fit like a glove. On the set, he eclipsed everyone with his bulging gaze. Even secondary, the character Abrahams and Proft were endowed with a number of seasoned phrases. Good script work with the right choice of situation and characterization of the character, a reference to war films, and instructors who were strict in their word and hand. Here we remember Sergeant Hartman, performed by Lee Ermey of Full Metal Jacket. Although what is the point of remembering it? How can you forget him once you see him, and his commanding tone appears in your nightmares? His prototype, the role of Red Herring, was played by Bruce Young, a colorful man with a set of the right shitty phrases. The presence of a woman became special in the parody component of the picture in the squad. Junior Lieutenant Janet Kowalski, call sign Bio, performed by the then very young Christy Swanson. In the original her nickname was Busty, but it was considered to Frank. Although her bust did become a participant in the memorable episode in the barracks, Lieutenant Kent Gregory, played by Cary Elves, tall and handsome, he fit the image of a proper military man well. This means that in this way, in the context of a comedy plot, one can make as much irony as one wants. The authors did not fail to parody the cinematic theme of communication between a patient and a psychotherapist. This session turned out to be damn attractive, very tense. Well, it ended with a joke with a shout out to Leslie Nielsen and the mini-series Police Squad 82, written by none other than Jim Abrahams. Proft rewrote the script several times, filling the Admiral's speech with catchy phrases. The principle worked. The greater the number of verbal fails, the better for the plot of the picture. Abrahams decided to make a parody of fixed boxing matches. In the original version of the script, a Topper was present at the fight. The authors decided that the theme of smells in the elevator cabin must be played out in the film. The Fabulous Baker Boys' 89 year of release, and the song performed by Michelle Pfeiffer, formed the basis of Ramada's stunning performance. The image of the queen of the stage was crowned by a seductive red dress, and a complete blast in the actions of the performer.
The man I love him stay. I'll understand. We alone. You'll be big and strong.
Here is a parody not only of Mikkel's performance, but also of the showbiz of those years, charlatans singing to the soundtrack with a microphone.
Still unsure to meet him one day.
This song was performed by Valeria Golino herself, with the help of singer Rachel Sweet. As it turned out, Golino didn't want to play in that scene. She was embarrassed and didn't see herself in the image of a wild singer, and Abrahams had to persuade the actress. Professional basketball players took part in a mass brawl in a pub. Bill Laimbeer and Charles Barkley, whose fight during an NBA game at the time shook up the public.
And then Barkley and Laimbeer. Barkley gets in the left. Laimbeer will come back with an uppercut. Also had a cut. Both benches empty. It went on.
Another parody, this time erotic films and in particular 9.5 Weeks, Valeria Golino claimed that she and Sheen did the olive trick themselves without any editing tricks or cuts. Movie Star magazine and Empire would later call that episode the best parody of sex scenes in movies. Mentioned in the film, the mistress of the house where Ramada lived was in the film's script, but for unspecified reasons was uncompromisingly removed from the plot. Parody of MASH formed the basis for the rescue of a comrade in arms. The episode with the parachute tied to the ambulance was invented by Prof in tribute to classic cartoons. In the frame, there is a stunt double, a stuntman, and a hard-working dummy. In the original, the hero William Ollery with the telling call sign, "Dead Meat," survived, but justified his nickname later. He died in the finale of the film when he was shot down by an enemy fighter, but they decided to add a funeral to the plot. There was enough black stuff in the film, so why not? Moreover, that Lloyd Bridges and its burnouts certainly do not happen too much. Kevin Dunn, who played Lieutenant James Block, perfectly captured the image of a man who stoically endures the antics of the Admiral, demonstrating at the same time unperturbed calm. "Here you go please. A game of face and no extra words needed." Proft wrote the pudding scene in a tribute to the increasingly popular sitcoms and the idiotic actions of the main characters. The authors developing the theme of the couple in love, the pilot and the psychotherapist, are organizing a festival of references to classic films. The main scene was supposed to be where the topper in the image of Tarzan, with a Ramada under his arm, runs away from the enraged King Kong in the jungle. But, due to the lack of time and the high cost of creating scenery, from this apparently killer Kong scene was abandoned. But at least they saved hello Sylvester Stallone, and the boxing movie saga Rocky. Probably Sly was pleased with such a mention. After all, that year he received a standard Golden Raspberry nomination for Rocky V. Vivian Leigh and Clark Gable from the film Gone with the Wind. They didn't even guess that they would get prototypes like these. In the scene of the passionate lovers climbing the stairs, a fragment of Superman's flight appeared right in place of Tarzan. On the suit instead of the canonical letter S, we see T. This is not Tarzan at all, of course. Topper. All references were accompanied by the immortal composition Only You. It has long been recognized as a hymn for lovers. Well, Topper and Ramada, those are still heroic lovers. The scene with Buzz Harley was actually one of the first to be filmed. In the studio pavilion, Bill Irwin had only 2 days of shooting. Wind installations were in operation in the pavilion, and for the final chord with the stretching, a universal mannequin was used, who was called Benny Hill, in a tribute to the popular comedy sketch series. In the original, the Admiral carried the scoundrel off the deck with a powerful blow, and he became the prey of the man-eating shark. Most likely it was a reference to Spielberg's film Jaws. But in the modified version we got a reference to the comedy A Stitch in Time, a jaw-dropping scene in the dentist's office. Valeria Golino said, and Charlie Sheen confirmed that until the very end they didn't know what the ending of the film would be. The script was rewritten and they received the final version only a couple of days before filming. Years later, Abraham said that in one of the versions Topper ejected during the mission and was captured, but they decided that this love story would get a worthy ending, and the sizzling belly would get its portion of meat fried with hot passion. For this occasion, we decided not to look for another performer, but to send the final credits to the unforgettable composition Bobby Darin. With a budget of $26 million, Hot Shots grossed $181 million worldwide, a major success with a bonus in the movie's piggy bank from sales on tapes. Well, there were so many sales of rights to TV companies and TV shows that it is impossible to count them.